Good morning. Haven't made a video in a while. Thought I'd keep the folks updated on a few of the things I've been doing. This is a new phone, first time vlogging on this phone, and I live in a new house in Sea Point. It's very nice out here. Running a videography, video production house called Skyreal. You can see over here, this is the head office. So I've got a nice little project that I've lined up for today. What I'd like to do is fix this problem that I have with these speakers over here. These are old Cambridge Soundworks, incredible speakers. There's a sub down on the floor over here, and they have really good sound, except that a while back I lost the speaker stand. The stand itself is quite a rudimentary thing. One piece of solid plastic that slots in there like that, tilts the speaker back at an angle, and at some stage I managed to lose this one. So this one just points forward where I'd like it to point up, and then also sort of just an OCD thing. So I recalled that a friend of mine ordered a 3D printer from some Kickstarter project. I know that he hasn't really been using his printer much. Why don't I use my 3D modeling experience from Varsity, design this in 3D, and then print it myself, and potentially print even more things. So it starts like this. You find the piece you wanna replicate as a model. I took simply a ruler. I didn't use a vernier caliper or a micrometer or anything as accurate as that, because it just needs to fit in. You start off with the piece, you then measure it, and you transpose it into a technical drawing. Now this isn't my finest technical drawing, but it's got everything you need. It's got the radii of the fillets on each of the corners. It's got the angle 12 degrees over here at which that flange is pointed back. You can see that flange at the top there is actually tapered. That helps it squeeze into that little track on the bottom of the speaker. Then what you do is transfer all those dimensions that you've just documented onto a 3D modeling app. Now this is called Solidworks, and it's actually an application for Windows. I've had to install Parallels Desktop, which is that one there. With Parallels, you are able to run Windows in parallel with Mac, so that is a MacBook Pro, and this is just another screen. I have used the ModT printer's web interface to upload the speaker stand file, and I think when I press play it will upload it to the printer and hopefully start printing. This is the device over here. It's called the ModT by a company called New Matter. It was on Kickstarter for about $200, which is very cheap. Looks like it's just calibrating this plate at the moment. So I think these are like some splined rods. What happens is there's teeth on the bottom of that build plate. As that rod rotates, it moves it back and forth. Then there's a threaded rod over here. I suppose there's some sort of motor in the big head thing that moves it up and down. It's taken a significant investment in my time today to get this thing working. It turns out there was quite a big blockage in the nozzle, and eventually when this started printing I knew that it was alright. So now, there you go. Oh yeah, I just pressed the front button and it's whirring into action. I think it's centering itself. I don't know how on earth it did that. I figured it would have to like go to the edge. Yeah, I think it is doing that. So it's going to each edge to determine where halfway is, and then it'll stop on the middle eventually, I imagine. Let's see. That is very cool. You can see the little splined rod is turning there. Oh, I've just returned to the printing bed to find that it was completely pushed out of place. I feel like the nozzle's probably blocked or something. Yeah, that's not right. Anyway, we'll have to give that another go. Alright, this is giving it another go. Put it on a much lower density and a much higher print speed. So I'm sacrificing quality, but really, because I haven't got any done correctly yet, I really just need to see that this thing works and is worth pursuing. You can see it's not going to be filling up the whole density with plastic like it did with this one. I mean, this thing is solid. It's smooth on both sides and very stiff. Better is, yeah. Computer says it's finished. Much better results this time. Everything seems to have printed correctly. It's fairly rough. You're not going to get much more definition than that. Give this a little snip over here and see what he looks like. Woo! Look at that. I used the Leatherman and a couple of knives in the file to make sure it's free of any burrs and sharp edges. Still looks pretty rough, but I think the shape is accurate enough. Printer itself which you've got to just clean very briefly with a wire brush to make sure the nozzle isn't blocked up. Looking at these side by side, I can't tell a single difference. Lost track of which one was the original. That just leaves the acid test, which is let's do it in this one, which is just testing if it goes in. So, it seems to be a little bit wide. I think what I've done is broken it. Yeah, it's definitely broken. Look, it's not a bad first test. Unfortunately, two of the top pieces just snapped right off. That's got to do with the orientation in which it's printed, because it snaps along the print lines. So here's some of the pieces. I don't think a terrible first attempt at a print. Never personally 3D printed anything before. I did have some stuff done for my thesis. Never actually did it myself, so I think this is probably usable. But maybe back to the drawing board, and until next time, get back to the design studio. Alright.